What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my DraftKings MMA picks for UFC 304. We have Leon Edwards going against Bilal Muhammad 2, and we have a 14-fight card here, and I'm really liking this card. I'm liking this card from a fan perspective. We have an absolute stacked main card here in UFC 304, a lot of great prelims as well, and then from a DraftKings perspective, we do have a 14-fight card here, so a lot of options, a lot of things sticking out. Can't wait to break it all down. Before we do so, if you guys could do me a favor and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you guys want to support me more, if you guys want extra content, be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com. That's where you'll find all my fighter stats, targets, projections, ownership projections, rankings. I do prize picks article, DraftKings article on there, and of course the lineup optimizer, build up to 150 lineups on there. So check it out, dfsbythenumbers.com. But yeah, getting into this card here, I think there's, like I said, a lot of fights sticking out. I think we do get a lot of decisions on this card, but here are a couple fights that I do think have some finishing opportunities on either side. So up top, the obvious one in the building, it is Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades. The fight doesn't go to decision, is minus 1,000, and yeah, it's a fight that I do think finishes inside the distance. I think it finishes probably within like the first round and a half, probably the first 2 rounds here. Tom Aspinall, he has 17 fights. He's never been to a third round, and I'm not really sure that changes in this one. The thing about this fight, and we'll talk about the salaries a lot between this fight here, because these salaries are very wide. Tom Aspinall is 9,400. Curtis Blades is 6,800. I think this is a fight that I'm going to be personally 100% exposed to. I don't see how this fight disappoints, because with Blades, you have the wrestling upside, the, in theory, late finish upside. Could be early as well, but later the fight goes, you got to think it favors Blades. And then with Tom Aspinall, you have a first-round finish, maybe a second-round finish upside there. So a fight that I'm going to be pretty much 100% exposed to, in a fight that I think does finish probably within the first 2 rounds. Next, we have another fight that I think finishes as well. It's going to be Sam Patterson going against Kiefer Crosby. And yeah, this is a fight that I do think goes under 1.5 rounds. I just think stylistically, and I love these striker versus grappler matchups, because this is what we pretty much have here. It's a fight where on the feet, Crosby, I think, is a decent striker. I think he has good power. Patterson is very hittable, holds his chin up in the air. He's begging to be knocked out, and Crosby's going to try to take his head off. So I think that Crosby, at a very cheap price tag in 6,900, is live to maybe land a big shot early. But if this fight hits the mat, Patterson's going to style on Kiefer Crosby. Simple as that. So another fight that I think has a very good chance to not only finish inside the distance, but finish and score very well for the winner also. Next, we have Nathaniel Wood going against Daniel Pineda. The fight doesn't go to decision, minus 250. And this is a fight where I see it being Daniel Pineda early or Nathaniel Wood late. You know, Daniel Pineda is a guy with a 100% finish rate in 28 wins. You don't see a finish rate like that in that big of a sample size like ever. I mean, this guy has over 40 fights, and he's kept a 100% finish rate intact, for his wins. I think that's very impressive, and that's something that cannot be ignored considering this guy's 6,700. And as far as Nathaniel Wood, I will admit there are some other fighters I do like better, but Nathaniel Wood, I think he has a really good chance to land a lot of volume, maybe mix in a takedown here or there, and then get a late finish. I don't think he's finishing Daniel Pineda early. I think Pineda's tough enough to last for at least the first 5 to 7.5 minutes, but if this fight does go over 1.5 rounds, I think Wood's going to start taking over and get Pineda out of there late. So yeah, another really good fight to target. I think someone's getting served in this one as well. And then finally, we have Christian Leroy Duncan. He is going against Gregory Rodriguez, and the fight doesn't go to decision. For that fight is minus 220. This is a fight where I'm more so on the Christian Leroy Duncan side. I'm not sure I'm going to get to a ton of Rodriguez. Duncan, one thing he has shown throughout his entire career, whether it's being a pro or an amateur, is just the durability. This guy's next level durable. I've never seen him hurt. He's never been knocked out. And I think for Rodriguez to win this fight, I think he's going to have to grapple, which maybe he does. It's just not something we can really count on Gregory Rodriguez to do. So I think Duncan's going to get the fight he wants. And when he does, Rodriguez is going to come forward. He's going to be open to get hit. And, Duncan has a lot of power. And we've seen Rodriguez knocked out multiple times. So I'm more on the Duncan side here. But yeah, these are two very in-play salaries. Duncan, 8,300. Rodriguez, 7,900 in a fight that I do think does finish. But I'm personally on the Christian Leroy Duncan side there. Next, we have the core plays. A couple fights we already talked about here, but yeah, Sam Patterson, just want to reiterate that I like Patterson this week. I am worried about him getting clipped in the first couple minutes, but I mean, I think he's like the much better fighter. I'm not sure what Kiefer Crosby's doing in the UFC. This is a guy in Crosby who's been finishing all of his losses. I think he has a couple minutes of cardio. I think the discrepancy on the ground game is just astronomical. If this fight hits the mat, Sam Patterson is going to tap out Kiefer Crosby in a matter of seconds, I think. But yeah, the striking defense is an issue. The chin could be an issue, and Crosby does crack. So I do like Patterson quite a bit. I'm going to have quite a few shares of Sam Patterson, but there's a couple like dart throw type pump plays on the card, and Kiefer Crosby is one of them if he can find the chin of Patterson. But this should really be a fight that Patterson should go out there and win dominantly and put up a very good score. Preston Parsons, 8,600. Kind of, I don't want to say I'm on an island, but this line has closed up quite a bit. Obon Elliott, a lot of love coming in on him, at least on the money line throughout the week, but I'm more on the Preston Parsons side here. This is a guy in Parsons who I really do like. He's landing over 4 takedowns per 15 minutes. This is a guy that has attempted 10 submissions in his last 3 fights. I think he's the more durable fighter here. I think he has the better cardio here. I think he's the better wrestler here as well. I'm just not been impressed with Obon Elliott. I'm not really sure what people see in this guy, to be honest. I mean, the Dana White's Contender Series win, he almost got knocked out in that fight against Val Woodburn. He barely scraped by him. So, yeah, I mean, I like Parsons here. I like Parsons to, at the very least, go out there, get a ton of takedowns, control time, attempt a couple submissions. But I think a late finish is in play here for one Preston Parsons. Then we have Colin Loughran, who is pretty similar to Preston Parsons in a sense that in terms of this fight, I think takedowns are free. Like, whenever Colin Loughran wants a takedown, he's going to get a takedown. Jake Hadley has a terrible takedown defense in the flyweight division, and Hadley's coming up a weight class here on short notice. I don't like that for Hadley. So yeah, Loughran's a guy that put up like 111 in his last fight. I could see something like similar here. Like, he's going to be able to take down Hadley when he wants. He's very active with the ground and pound. Those strikes are going to add up. The takedowns are going to add up. I'm not sure he finishes Hadley, but even in a decision win at this price tag, 8,700, I think Loughran can put up a very, very impressive score. So I like Loughran. I like the price tag here. I'm going to have quite a bit of them. And then finally, another fighter we talked about, Christian Leroy Duncan, 8,300. A fight that I do think finishes inside the distance. I think somebody's probably getting knocked out, and I think that somebody that is getting knocked out is going to be Rodriguez. We've just seen Rodriguez hurt in so many fights by guys he shouldn't be getting hurt from, like Jordan Williams and even Jung Young Park, who doesn't have any knockouts in the UFC, was going out there and looked like he was about to get Rodriguez out of there. This is a guy in Christian Leroy Duncan who's patient but powerful. He has a 90% finish rate. He's going to hit hard, and Rodriguez is there to be hit and there to be hurt. So I like Christian Leroy Duncan at 8,300, and I think he gets a knockout. Moving on to the GPP plays here, the tournament plays. Tom Aspinall, I hate the price tag. I hate it. I think these salaries are really disrespectful to Blades, but at the same time, what does a Tom Aspinall win look like? Well, it's probably a first-round knockout, and so I think it needs to be played. In worst case scenario for Aspinall, if he's winning, it's probably a second round knockout. So yeah, you have to play Aspinall here. I think these salaries should be much closer. Like when these guys fought a couple years ago, I think it was Aspinall 8,300, Blades 7,900, and we didn't even get to see much in that fight. We got to see like 15 seconds of that fight. So I'm not sure why these salaries are the way they are. But, like I said, my pick is Tom Aspinall to win this fight by first round knockout, and if that happens, he is going to pay off this price tag. Nathaniel Wood, 9,500, the most expensive fighter on the entire card. I like Nathaniel Wood here in this matchup. I like Aspinall more. I like Patterson more. I like a couple other fighters a little bit more, but I think Wood, if he's able to survive this early storm, first 7.5 minutes, I think he's going to start to take over. And Wood's a guy that can put up a solid score. I mean, this is a guy that's going to go out there and throw a lot of volume. I can see him just getting Pineda out of there late, racking up a ton of volume along the way, maybe some takedowns as well. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think Wood can go out there and put up a very, very good score in a win at 9,500. And next we have King Green, 8,200. This is a fight that it's tough to have like a really strong lean on, but it's also a fight that I think is going to score very well. Bobby Green, or King Green in this instance, he's landing almost 7 significant strikes per minute, and Paddy Pimblett has like a 40% striking defense. So there's a good chance if Green does win this fight, he's going to put up well over 100 significant strikes, as I don't think he's finishing Paddy. So yeah, I think Green in a win at this price tag scores very, very well, and I will be having some King Green for sure. And then Muhammad Mokaev, 8,400. Another fight that I don't have a strong lean on, but my lean in this fight is from a DraftKings perspective, right? It's going to be Muhammad Mokaev who's going to have the grappling upside in this matchup. To be honest, Mokaev probably has as much, if not more, wrestling takedown upside than a guy like Loughran, than a guy like Preston Parsons, and that cannot be ignored. Muhammad Mokaev is going out there and landing almost 6 takedowns per 15 minutes, and it's no secret what he's going to go out here and do to Manel Kopp. He's going to try to take him down. He's not going to try to strike with Kopp. So, yeah, if Mokaev goes out there and wins this fight, you're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 takedowns, lots of control time, and probably a decision win, maybe a late sub. So yeah, I think Muhammad Mokaev, he's got to be mentioned just because he has that wrestling style, and all those grappling points I think are going to add up over 15. Moving on to the live dogs, we have Belal Muhammad, 7,400. This is a live dog I love in cash games especially. I think Muhammad has an incredible floor for cash. Tournaments, I don't hate him as well, but just from a cash game perspective, I think Belal Muhammad's probably my favorite play. Just because he's very cheap here, 7,400. This is a fight that's favored to go the distance. I favor it to go the distance, and I think at the very least, Muhammad is going to go out there. He's going to get a couple takedowns, especially as the fight goes on. He's going to go out there and land a decent amount of volume over 25 minutes. So, like, even in a loss, like, Belal Muhammad's probably going to score like 50, maybe 60 points, depending on how many takedowns, control time, how much he's able to get going. So, and then if he's able to pull off the win, which I'm not picking him to win. I think this fight could be competitive, but if he's able to get a win, you're looking at 100 plus, I think, for Belal, especially over 25 minutes. So, yeah, I love Belal Muhammad in cash games, and then tournaments, I don't mind him as well. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. Paddy Pimblett, 8,000. A fight that I think is a really good fight to target here. Like I mentioned, Paddy Pimblett, he's high volume in his own right. He flashes power. He's going to be the better grappler in this matchup. And I think if Pimblett's winning this fight, I think it could either be like a close decision, or maybe he is able to finish, King Green's 37 years old at this point. Green's been finished 7 times at this point. We've seen Green get hurt more and more. So maybe if Pimblett does win this fight, maybe it is an early type finish. So yeah, I love this fight from a DraftKings perspective. It's a tough one to call in my opinion, but I will be playing both sides here. And then one sneaky one I'll kind of throw out to you guys. I'm not in love with it, but I mean, I think she's a very live dog. It's going to be Alice Ardaline at 7,300, just because there's no way Shauna Bannon should be 8,900 here. This feels like an 8,200, 8,000 matchup, like 8,300, 7,900 matchup at the very least. Like I'm not high on Shauna Bannon. With that said, I'm not that high on Ardaline as well, but she looks decent on tape. It's just she's fighting the worst level of competition you'd ever see. But yeah, I feel like, she does have some paths here, and at 7,300, I don't hate Ardaline at that price tag. And then Curtis Blades, 6,800. There's a very good chance he does get knocked out in the first round, but if he is able to extend this fight, if he is able to get takedowns here, this could look like the biggest steal ever. It's just the chin of Curtis Blades, the fight IQ of Curtis Blades. This is a guy that's one of the best wrestlers in the division, and he's landed 3 takedowns his last 6 fights. So I guess it all comes down to the game plan of Blades. If he wants to go out there and strike with Aspinall, I think his head's getting taken off. But if he goes out there, pushes Aspinall against the cage, takes him down, grinds on him, gets minutes off the clock, extends this fight, I think that Blades has a very good chance to win down the stretch there. But we'll see. But yeah, that price tag on Blades, it's crazy. It's a crazy price tag, no matter who you think wins. Getting into some more pump plays here, of course, there was Blades. But yeah, Daniel Pineda, 6,700. A guy with a 100% finish rate should never be ignored. This is a guy in Pineda who's going to be the cheapest on the entire card here at 6,700, and he's going against Nathaniel Wood, who's a bantamweight fighting at featherweight for some reason, and also a guy in Wood who has been finished 4 times, 2 by knockout, 2 by submission. We see get Wood hurt in a lot of his fights. So yeah, Pineda, I think he has opportunities to win this fight early, but I think it has to be early. But we've seen Wood finish before, so I don't mind some shots on Daniel Pineda, cheapest dog on the card here for that early finishing upside. And then Kiefer Crosby, 6,900. Same thing. I think this guy has a couple minutes to go out there and clip Sam Patterson, which, yeah, Sam Patterson, very hittable. Very, very hittable, Sam Patterson. This is a guy in Patterson who has a 49% striking defense thus far, hold his chin up in the air. Quite frankly, he's begging to be knocked out, and Crosby's going to come forward and try to take his head off. So 6,900, I think, is a pump play that is certainly in play, and if he's winning this fight, it's by first-round knockout. All right, and then a couple fades here. Arnold Allen, 9,000. I like Allen to win this fight. I really do like him to win the fight. But in terms of his DraftKings scoring, Allen is one of the worst DraftKings scorers I've ever seen outside of the Dan Hooker fight. Like he's so low volume, landing about 3 strikes per minute. He's not really going out there and grappling. Giga, at the very least, Giga is just next level tough, next level durable. So I think Arnold Allen wins this fight by decision more often than not. Maybe gets a sub, maybe, but even then, just can't count on Allen scoring well on DraftKings. So I like him to win, but I don't like him on DraftKings this week. And then Sean O'Bannon, 8,900. I mean, I don't see in what world I'm playing Sean O'Bannon at 8,900. I think Arlene can make this probably it's going to be a competitive fight. I don't see Sean O'Bannon going out there and destroying anybody in the UFC, quite frankly. So it's a pretty easy fade for me, Sean O'Bannon and Arnold Allen. And yeah, guys, there you guys have it. Those are the DraftKings MMA picks for UFC 304. Do me a favor on your way out, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and once again, check out dfsbythenumbers.com. Most of the content is out. DraftKings article will be out shortly as well. Same thing with the Prize Picks article. So check all that out, and best of luck for UFC 304. See you guys later.